Welcome to another video on Bluefield Boosting, where we turn your downtime into uptime. And this is not the video I wanted to make, but it is something I can make versus not creating it all. So we're back on PSO, and I'm also not doing capture cam. I don't want to make it obvious that I'm not feeling the best, and you know that would probably show up on cam, but I'm well enough to put something out versus not. I decided that I'm going to show up and talk over some content, because things like that with intent are more and more common now. You don't necessarily have to you don't really have to have editing skills per se. We tend to procrastinate a lot, right? What if I don't have the proper thumbnail? What if I don't have the proper editing skills? What if I don't have the confidence to get on? It's all sorts of things that can get in the way. And there's a lot, especially when it comes to potential health conditions, that can get in the way of you creating it all. Today I decided to screw that because I missed a couple early deadlines I wanted to meet already. So I figured I'd do a dual purpose and talk over content, basically, and get things going, and also help a fellow teammate out here. We're doing stuff. So, you know, I got out of bed because it's been a downtime. So we decided to get up instead and do stuff. Hence how we start these videos, right? Always feels good to help other people, so figure to get the blood pumping, so to say, and get things started. Even if it's a late start to the day, it's better than not starting at all. And while that could be the end of the video there's just so much that goes into it. Because there's so many different reasons that you just don't. You just don't. You know, enough stuff builds up in your personal life, or you get like some kind of chronic migraine or something, and then just all of a sudden, like, that's it. The day's done. It's shot. You are doing nothing for the rest of the day. And I'm just so tired of those excuses. And truth be told, this is something I wish that I put into practice years ago. Before the health problems started kicking in. But unfortunately, sometimes we don't always learn lessons until they're kind of kicking us right in the butt. And that's a good basis as to why we're even doing this in the first place. I want to let people know, like, hey, it's just, there's a lot of us out there, and there's always somebody around to reach out that will support you, that can mentor you, that can give you some kind of boost, truth be told. You know, like, it's not some kind of boost. Whether it be words of encouragement, whether it just be the simple presence of company, whether, you know, you guys spend the night out, whether it's you go online and chat instead, because, like, that, of course, is a thing as well. And not going to judge you for doing stuff online as opposed to in person. You know, there's a lot of personal interaction that can happen online that is just as meaningful as anything otherwise. So, you know, if you got to do it online, you got to do it online. The good thing about not doing any of this tied to a workplace is that you have that freedom. You know, you don't have to be held back by, you must be in the office and that's the only way you can be productive and meet people and this and that, meet those KPIs and all this shit. You don't gotta do that. In your life, you get to make your own choices. So if you want to do something online instead and avoid the pressure of being outside or communicating with people in the traditional sense, don't do it. You know, someone's typing those messages to other people, provided you're not using ChatGPT. Provided you need a person to use the tool, but like we don't take those shortcuts. You know, we're talking about meaningful conversation here, not automated conversation. It might as well be work, because in a sense, you're being told what to do, or you're telling it what to do. It comes up with something for you when you put that out. There's nothing real about it. There is something real about getting on a screen and typing text. And people feel a certain way about that and appreciate it. So basically what we're going to do is I found a community, a small community. And people who still play this or are getting into it now, it's like a small niche community of sorts. But within that community, you know, people make their own teams or Discord groups or whatever. And I happened to find a awesome group that I decided, instead of being a team of one, solely for the dressing room of this game, so I can, you know, work on the true ending of this game, Fashion Star Online, I decided, let me join a team, right? Because they're all about helping people, and that's what we do. A lot of us have joined each other's streams that play this or other related games. We've started like the Follow Train. I had a pretty early raid because I've also started with this same name, I started a Twitch channel as well. And it's gotten decent traction considering that I've only streamed on there, I think, like 4 or 5 times total at this point. And everyone's just consistently nice, and that's really like the whole thing of PSO to begin with. But, you know, having a focused group so you don't necessarily have to rely on randoms as much is of high value. Like this guy, he was just saying, you know, I think Stack or whatever is another Phantasy Star server. Clearly the experience didn't go as well. He was level 80. Our stream character just hit like, I think 94, so we're not that far away. Like someone else just helped me do this. Like other people just helped me do this same thing. So like I got no problem helping a brother out, so to say. Or a sister, or in between. You know, I got no issue with that. Everyone starts somewhere. You gotta lift those people up. We forget about that when we get stuck in our daily routine. We forget about, you know, that people are worth more than a title and don't just want to be bossed around all day. We forget that in our role in family, where we're just expected to come home and pay the bills, or someone might be expected to just do the cooking all the time. Someone might be expected to just take care of the kids all the time. Like, we're so much more than what our responsibilities, right? We're more than our responsibilities and job titles. Sometimes we lose that human aspect of things. It's sad. It's sad and somewhat emotional too. Sometimes that's how it is. You genuinely feel that you are just, this is all there is to life. And I'm here to tell you firmly that it doesn't have to be like that. It's easier in the game because you just throw your time and effort into it and like enjoy it with other people. Like there's a lot less pressure there. But it's the same concept, right? Like we don't have to. You define who you are. If anyone's going to give you a title, it should be you. You should be making that for yourself. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do anything. Part of feeling bad for myself before I got on here was simply the fact that, well, I have this fresh new equipment, and part of what the equipment is supposed to be for is to go ahead and create further to take pictures. But I literally haven't felt up to it. Not in the sense of like I don't want to do it, but health-wise I have not felt up to it. I had to miss a day and a job I just got. And of course, a lot of this just would have the average person just not necessarily feeling good. And it might not be because of you, but it's because of whatever circumstance, right? This doesn't suddenly mean you're incapable. One loss or 20 does not define you as a person. You can rise up once again. So that's what we're attempting to do. And the first step was to make this video. The next and possibly prioritized step should have been feeding myself for the day. But we're hydrating at least. I'm taking those small steps towards what we need to do. Whatever water bottle company of choice that you need to get yourself into better habits to actually drink water and hydrate versus not, I would highly recommend. It is something my loving partner turned me on to. She did just get me one, and I've sworn by it since. And days where I don't bring it, I feel like are less valuable, because then the only thing I'll have had to drink all day is coffee. And you need the coffee to get up and go and all that, but coffee's dehydrating. So what hydration are you getting throughout the day? Now, if you have an office job, you might have the perks of having access to other drinks or whatever, but they're probably the average junk. Hopefully they have decent access to water, something actually worth having, and that is that. Now, admittedly, this particular activity within this game tends to be, it works to level people or whatever, but it's kind of boring. You run, it's basically a boss rush of the first episode of the game, and it gets boring fast. Especially if it's like the only thing you do. But it's consistent enough and helps out early fall. In fact, I might actually switch to. You don't have to do TTFs. Because hell, I didn't even do it when I had the help to level. So really, there's no reason to be doing what I'm doing right now. I didn't think that all the way through, but we can. I figure TTF is quick enough to where I can do a decent video rant of sorts. Let me revive this guy before he doesn't get any XP. No one determines your worth but you. Period. End of story. Anyone who thinks they can do otherwise can firmly be ejected from your life. part of doing things with intent is sometimes cutting off toxic people, toxic connections, is what I was trying to say, struggling to say there. At various points during this, and I'm not going to edit it either, I have struggled with words. And I made an excuse for a very long time as the years have gone by as to why I don't make content anymore due to that. And as I do more of it, maybe it's something that fixes itself, maybe it doesn't. But either way, I no longer want to use that as an excuse to not do content. So, whatever this gets titled might be a little bit on the darker side of sorts, but there's always that uplifting presence. Like, we always go back towards a point where we rise. Right? We rise up like a phoenix and all that. Make things happen. So, I'll probably continue with this guy for a while. Help with some stuff. Get him up there in the ranks. Try to get them as close to 80 as possible before I either literally don't physically feel up to it, or I have to like step away briefly. But you know, new connection, new person, starting anything new can be daunting, but it's always better with friends. So that's what we're doing. Provided I can keep my focus, I mean every word of what I'm saying. Sometimes focus is hard, but which is another thing. Like, I poke fun at myself constantly for that, but we always get right back to it. If we use that as an excuse for everything, we just won't get anything done. That's not good. You don't grow from that. You don't grow from that, and you sure as shit can't help others with it. Uplifting can be hard in a world where there's just constant negativity all the time. And all the time is a bit of a stretch, but at the same time, a lot of news makes that a very real reality. So, finding any which way to embrace some escapism, not entirely. You know, you don't want to do that throughout your whole life. You won't get nowhere. But some bit of escapism and some bit of interactions with intent for outings, or even just learning a thing or two. Something to shake up the normal formula and the routines of life makes all the difference. Finding all the different ways to do that. And you can start with one thing. You know, maybe you get up earlier and start journaling. Maybe you pick up a small exercise routine that's like 10 minutes. Maybe you get yourself a standing desk so you're not sitting all the time when you're already sitting at your office job, right? Like, there's little things you can do. Maybe you decide to make your bed versus not. You know, that's kind of going along the lines of being deeply depressed, but still, you know, every little step you can take, you'll start to see a pattern. You'll start, like, wanting to do more things. It's just how we're wired. You know, all of a sudden you feel motivated to do more. Because now you know you're capable to do more. Sometimes it's just that matter of tricking yourself into, like, hey, you know, maybe I can do this. It's the whole Thomas the Tank Engine story, right? I think I can. You have to make yourself think you can. Like, it sounds cheesy as hell, but like that's the damn truth. I don't always think I can. And sometimes when I don't think I can, turns out I can after all. And even if I actually can't, I can at least turn around and say I tried. It's really what it's all about. Really what it's all about. So with all that said, and before we go too much further in this, I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope to post more vlog stuff, or if we swap to something like this, maybe put myself back on cam. It just did not... It didn't feel right to do. I don't think it would have helped the story of sorts to go ahead and be uplifting while not looking uplifting. You know, we find our ways to rise above the different challenges that will occur. So we're gonna draft up a little battle plan here, and keep things going. But let this be your online encouragement to come up with a battle plan of your own. Right? If you wake up enough mornings and you're kind of just tired of your own bullshit, I highly encourage you to just maybe break out that traditional planner, or help make it Google Notes, right? List why you feel the way that you do, and the reasons you think you might not be able to do things you might be holding yourself back from. Just so it's on paper, just so you can like visualize what the issue is. And then, when you possibly get more uncomfortable with that, you at least then see in front of you, these are the things I'm struggling with. So, either the same day if you're feeling up to it, or the next day, you write what you think, not that you know for a fact, because you're never going to know until you try, what you think you can do to turn that around, or what you're procrastinating. And it can be a small thing like the chore around the house, like I mentioned before. Just as long as you're actually taking those steps, it'll start a chain reaction, and I promise you'll be happier for it. Until next time, you all take care, stay your awesome selves, and find those various ways to turn all your downtime, or most of your downtime, maybe not all. Some downtime is okay. I don't encourage bed rotting, but if you got you have a down day, maybe, spend some time. Just manage it a bit. Keep finding those ways to turn your downtime into uptime. Take care, everybody. I will see you guys on the next one.